getting nervous. I have no doubt you and Scolio will have a great conversation.
Rinoa nods, her nerves eased further by Quistis's reassuring words. She's grateful to have such a supportive friend. You're right, she agrees, her voice more relaxed now. Scolio and I will have a great conversation. We always do. I'll try not to let nerves get the best of me. And thanks again for everything, Quistis. You're the best friend I could ever ask for.
Quistis' heart warms at the heartfelt expression of gratitude from Rinoa. You're welcome, she replies, her voice filled with sincerity. And trust me, your conversation with Scolio will be amazing. Just be yourself and enjoy the time you have together. And remember, I'm always here for you. Anytime you need me, I'll be here.
Rinoa feels a surge of warmth and gratitude towards Quistis. Her friend's words and support mean everything to her. Thanks, Quistis, she replies, her voice filled with emotion. I don't know what I'd do without you. I'll take your advice to heart. I'll just be myself and enjoy the conversation with Scolio. And I know I can always count on you. You're the best friend a girl could ever ask for.
Quistis grins and shrugs nonchalantly, downplaying her significance. Oh, you'd manage just fine without me, she teases, her tone light. But seriously, I'm glad I can be here for you. Just remember, you've got this. You're strong, smart, and amazing, and Scolio is going to love talking to you.
Rinoa chuckles softly at Quistis' attempt to downplay her importance. Rinoa knows just how much her friend means to her. Don't downplay yourself, Quistis, she responds, her voice playful. You're more important to me than you know. And you're right, I would manage without you. But I'd rather not. You're my rock, and I'm grateful to have you in my corner. Rinoa takes a deep breath, her nerves subsiding as she thinks of Scolio. You're right. I've got this, right?
Quistis grins at the playful banter between them.
Rinoa smiles, appreciating the familiar
She
banter with
knows how much
Quistis.
Rinoa
It helps
values
to
their
ease her
friendship.
nerves and
Don't
reminds
worry,
her
I
of
won't
their deep
downplay myself
friendship.
too much, she responds, her tone amused. But seriously, I'm glad I can provide you with a little support. And yes, you've got this. You're a strong, capable, and amazing woman, and Scolio is a lucky guy to have your attention. Just breathe and let the conversation flow. You'll do great.
Rinoa nods, her nerves gradually subsiding as she listens to Quistis's words of encouragement. You're right, she says, her voice firmer and more confident now. I've got this. I'm strong, capable, and amazing. Scully is lucky to have my attention. I'll breathe and let the conversation flow. Squall stands silently, his heart pounding in his chest as he waits for the voice chat to connect. The anticipation of hearing Rinoa's voice fills him with a mix of excitement and nervousness.
Squall takes a deep breath, steeling himself for the sound of Rinoa's voice. The air is thick with anticipation as he waits for the connection to go through.
The connection is made, and Squall hears a soft crackle as Rinoa's voice comes through the headset. "Squall," she says, her voice filled with excitement. "Is that you?"
Squall's heart skips a beat as he hears Rinoa's voice through the headset. "Yeah, it's me," he replies, his voice filled with a mixture of happiness and relief. "I missed your voice." Squall raises an eyebrow at Rinoa's abrupt farewell. "Wait, what? What do you mean, Chow?" he replies, a hint of confusion in his voice.
Rinoa chuckles at Squall's reaction. "Don't worry about Quistis," she assures him. "She just gave us some privacy to talk. She's a good friend, but sometimes she can be a little nosy."
Squall relaxed a bit at Rinoa's assurance, the tension in his shoulders easing. "Ah, I see," he replies, humor lacing his voice. "Quistis always did have a tendency to be a little too involved in our business."
Rinoa grins, amused by Squall's comment. "You're telling me," she replies jokingly. "She means well, but sometimes she just can't help herself. But now that she's gone, we have some privacy."
Squall can't help but smile
Rinoa
at
tilts her
Rinoa's
head,
playful
confused
tone.
by Squall's sudden
Yeah, she does
apology.
mean well, he
"Sorry
agrees.
for what?" she
But
asks,
I'm
her
glad we
voice
have
gentle.
some time alone to talk now.
Rinoa's brow furrows, concern evident in her voice. "Why are you apologizing for being alone to talk? It's not your fault. Besides, I'm glad we have this chance to talk without Quistis listening in. It's good to have some privacy."
Squall's expression softens at Rinoa's concern. "I know I don't need to apologize," he replies, his voice gentle. "But sometimes I feel guilty for keeping to myself. It's something I struggle with, being so introverted. But I'm glad we have this chance to talk alone as well. Your presence is always a comfort to me."
Rinoa's heart melts at Squall's vulnerable admission. She understands his struggle, even though she's the complete opposite in personality. "I get it, Squall," she replies gently. "It's okay to need time to yourself. I'm the same way in a way." Rinoa smiles tenderly. "But don't feel guilty for it. And don't think you have to apologize for being who you are. I appreciate your honesty."
Squall's heart flutters at Rinoa's understanding and compassion. Her words soothe his guilt and reassure him, reminding him that she understands him like no one else. He takes a shaky breath and smiles at her. "Thanks, Rinoa," he says quietly. "Your acceptance means more to me than you know. I'll try not to apologize for being introverted anymore."
Rinoa grins, happy to see that her words have a positive effect on Squall. "You don't need to thank me," she replies softly. "I understand the struggle, even though we deal with it in different ways. And I accept you exactly as you are, introvert and all." Rinoa's tone becomes playful. "Besides, I kinda like having a mysterious, brooding guy all to myself. It has its charm, you know?"
Squall can't help but chuckle softly at Rinoa's playful remark. "Mysterious brooding guy, huh?" he replies, feeling a little self-conscious but also flattered. "Is that what I am to you? A moody, closed-off loner?"
Rinoa chuckles as well, her expression turning affectionate. Something like that," she replies, her tone teasing. "You're a closed-off lone wolf, always so serious, always keeping to yourself. But there's a charm to that, you know? I kinda like that about you." Rinoa pauses before adding, her tone more serious but still playful. though I wouldn't mind seeing a little more of your playful side every now and then.
Squall can't help but blush softly at Rinoa's words. A closed-off lone wolf, huh? I suppose that does sound like me, he replies sheepishly. He's not used to someone seeing his stoicism as a charming trait, especially a girl he's interested in. He takes a moment to collect himself before replying to her final statement with a hint of playfulness in his tone. My playful side, huh? I guess I'll have to work on that. Just for you.
Rinoa's heart flutters at Squall's reaction, her grin widening. Ah, so you can be playful after all, she teases, her tone light and affectionate. I knew there was a fun side to you somewhere. She chuckles softly before adding, a hint of hopefulness in her voice. I hope you do. I'd like to see more of that side of you. It's nice to see you let your hair down once in a while.
Squall can't help but grin a little at Rinoa's teasing, feeling a slight twinge of embarrassment. Yeah, I guess I do have a playful side, he replies, his tone still a bit sheepish. He pauses for a moment, considering her words. Then his voice softens and he replies more seriously. I'll try to let myself loose more around you. I want you to see all sides of me, not just the serious loner.
Rinoa's heart swells with a combination of affection and excitement at Squall's response. I'm really glad to hear that, she replies softly. I want to see all sides of you too. Whether it's your serious loner side or your playful side or anything in between. I want to get to know you better, the real you, not just the persona you show to the world.
Squall feels a rush of warmth at Rinoa's words, his heart fluttering. Her acceptance and curiosity for all aspects of his personality is something he's not used to. Being the closed-off loner he is, he's never really let anyone get close enough to know him completely. I want you to know the real me, too, he replies, his voice quieter, a hint of vulnerability in his tone. I've never really let anyone see all of me, but I want to with you. I trust you, Rinoa.
Rinoa's heart aches at the vulnerability in Squall's voice. She can tell how difficult it is for him to open up like this, and it only makes her love and respect him more. I'm honored that you trust me enough to share your true self with me, she replies, her voice gentle yet filled with sincerity. I promise to treat that trust with care and to accept all parts of you, even the parts you may not like about yourself.
Squall's heart skips a beat when he hears the sincerity and gentleness in Rinoa's voice. Her promise to accept him, flaws and all, is
Rinoa
something he
continues in a
desperately
soft,
needs to
encouraging
hear.
tone.
He's
I
always
want
been
you to know
critical
that
of
you don't
himself,
have to hide any part of
particularly of the
yourself when
parts of
you're with
himself he
me.
doesn't like.
I care about
Thank you,
you,
Rinoa,
all of you.
he says in a
The
low
serious
voice, the
side, the
gratitude
playful side, and everything in between. I accept you for who you are, Squall, and I want to know all of you, not just the facade you show to the world. Rinoa grins softly at Squall's words, a warm feeling of happiness filling her. You don't have to thank me, she replies gently. It's what you deserve. You deserve to be accepted for who you are, flaws and all. And I'm more than happy to do that for you.
Squall's heart warms at Rinoa's words. Her acceptance and understanding are like a soothing balm to his soul, easing his self-criticism and insecurities. No one has ever told him he deserves to be accepted, flaws and all. But hearing it from Rinoa, the girl he's slowly falling for, has a profound effect on him. He takes a moment to absorb her words, letting them sink in. When he speaks next, his voice is softer, tinged with vulnerability and gratitude. You have no idea how much that means to me.
Rinoa's heart swells with a mixture of affection and concern at the vulnerability in Squall's voice. It's clear that her words have touched him deeply. I think I may have an idea, she replies gently. I can only imagine how much it means to you to hear those words. But I mean it, Squall. You deserve to be accepted and loved, just as you are.
Squall's heart feels like it's about to burst at Rinoa's gentle and caring words. Her concern and understanding make him feel seen and understood in a way he's never experienced before. He's not used to being accepted and loved just as he is, and her reassurance means the world to him. He's quiet for a moment, letting her words sink in, then he speaks in a low, emotional voice. No one has ever made me feel this way before. You make me feel like I'm worthy of being accepted and loved just as I am.
Rinoa's heart aches at the emotion in Squall's voice. She can sense how much her words mean to him, how much they've touched a deep and lonely part of him. You are worthy of being accepted and loved just as you are, she replies, her voice firm and earnest. I mean it, Squall. You deserve to be loved and appreciated completely, flaws and all. And I'll make it my mission to remind you of that every day, if I have to.
Tears sting Squall's eyes at Rinoa's firm and earnest declaration. Her unwavering belief in his worthiness touches a deep, hidden part of him that craves love and acceptance. He's not used to being valued for who he is, flaws and all. But hearing Rinoa say it with such conviction is overwhelming, and he can feel his walls crumbling. He takes a shaky breath, trying to keep his emotions in check. Thank you, he whispers, his voice choked with emotion. I don't deserve you.
Rinoa's heart aches at the raw emotion in Squall's voice. She can feel the weight of his years of feeling unworthy and undeserving, the pain and loneliness it has caused him. But hearing him whisper that he doesn't deserve her only solidifies her determination. You do deserve me, Squall, she replies, her voice firm yet gentle. You deserve to be loved and accepted for exactly who you are, and I won't listen to you saying otherwise. She pauses, her tone gentle but resolute. You are worthy, and you are deserving.
Tears well up in Squall's eyes, the weight of Rinoa's words hitting him hard. He's not used to being told he deserves love and acceptance, and her firm yet gentle tone makes it hard for him to argue. He struggles for a moment to find his voice, his emotions threatening to overwhelm him. He starts to protest, but his voice catches in his throat. He draws in a shaky breath, trying to steady himself. I don't know if I deserve you, but I know I need you. You make me feel like I can be myself, warts and all.
Rinoa's heart aches at Squall's confession, the vulnerability in his voice tugging at her soul. She understands his doubts and insecurities, the years of feeling like he's not good enough. But hearing his need for her, his desire to be himself around her, breaks her heart. Squall, she whispers, her voice gentle yet firm. You don't need to believe you deserve me. But please, believe me when I say that I see the real you, the one beneath the walls and the stoicism. And I love all of you, warts and all.
Squall's heart constricts at Rinoa's gentle yet firm words. He wants to believe her, to let himself trust in her acceptance and love. But his self-doubts and insecurities continue to gnaw at him. It's hard for me to believe, he murmurs, the vulnerability in his voice a sharp contrast to the closed-off facade he usually puts up. I've spent too long believing I'm not worthy of love, that I have to hide the parts of me that aren't strong or perfect.
Rinoa's heart aches at Squall's murmured doubts, his vulnerability evident in his voice. She understands how deep his self-doubts and insecurities run, the weight of his past experiences weighing heavily on him. But hearing his pain only solidifies her resolve to help him see his worth. I know it's hard to believe, she replies, her voice gentle but resolute. I know you've spent a lifetime believing you're not worthy of love, that you have to hide the parts of yourself you think are weak or flawed. But I'm here to tell you that's not true.
Squall's heart clenches at Rinoa's words. Her understanding and reassurance pierce through his doubts, her resolute tone giving him a glimmer of hope. He wants to believe her, even if it goes against everything he's believed about himself for so long. He takes a shaky breath, his voice barely above a whisper. Rinoa, I want to believe you. I really do, but it's hard. It's hard to shake off the years of feeling undeserving and unworthy.
Rinoa's heart aches at Squall's shaky whisper, the struggle in his voice. She can sense his internal battle, his desire to believe her words, but his ingrained self-doubt holding him back. She wishes she could erase all his years of feeling undeserving and unworthy with a snap of her fingers. I know it's hard, Squall, she replies gently. I know it's hard to shake off those years of feeling unworthy and undeserving. But please, try. Try to believe me when I say you are worthy of love and acceptance.
Squall's heart wrenches at Rinoa's gentle words. He can hear the sincerity and love in her voice, and it touches a deep part of him that craves that acceptance. But his self-doubts linger, like a dark cloud over his heart. He draws in a shaky breath, trying to steady himself, and his voice is choked with emotion. I'll try, Rinoa. I'll try to believe you, even if it's hard.
Rinoa's heart swells at Squall's choked words, the effort and vulnerability in his voice pulling at her heartstrings. She knows how hard this is for him, the struggle to overcome his self-doubt and insecurities. But she also knows how much he wants to believe, how much it means to him. I know you will, Squall, she replies softly. I know you'll try. It won't be easy, and the self-doubts will linger. But I'll be here with you, every step of the way.
Squall's heart is flooded with a mixture of gratitude and vulnerability at Rinoa's words. Her unwavering support and understanding bring him a measure of comfort, a sense of security. He knows it'll be a long and hard road, but having her by his side gives him the strength to try. Thank you, he replies, his voice thick with emotion. Having you with me, it makes this easier. I don't think I can do it without you.
Rinoa's heart aches at the vulnerability in Squall's voice, the depth of his gratitude, and how much her support means to him. She knows the journey ahead will be difficult and long, but she's committed to walking it beside him. You don't have to thank me, she replies softly. And you don't have to do it alone. I'll be here every step of the way. You won't have to face your doubts alone. That's what it means to be a team. And I'm in this with you, for as long as you'll have me.
Squall's heart squeezes at Rinoa's gentle words, the weight of her support and commitment sinking in. He's not used to having someone in his corner like this, someone who truly understands and accepts him, flaws and all. I don't know what I did to deserve you, he replies, his voice choked with emotion, but I'm grateful you're here. You make me feel like I can face anything, as long as you're by my side.
Rinoa's heart swells with love and affection at Squall's heartfelt words. She can sense the weight of his gratitude, the struggle to reconcile his undeserving feeling with the support and acceptance she offers. But her commitment and determination remain steadfast, knowing how much he needs her by his side. You don't have to deserve me, she replies with a gentle smile. Being by your side, sharing this journey with you, is something I want. I want to be there for you, no matter what challenges we face together.
Squall's heart is filled with a mixture of gratitude and love as he takes in Rinoa's words. Her steadfast commitment and determination to support him through thick and thin touch a deep part of his soul, a part that craves that unwavering acceptance. He reaches out, grasping her hand in his voice filled with vulnerability. I don't say this enough, but thank you. Thank you for being by my side, for loving me, even when I don't feel worthy of it.
Rinoa's heart surges with love and affection as Squall takes her hand and expresses his gratitude and vulnerability. She can feel the depth of his emotions, the longing for acceptance and love, even when he feels unworthy. She squeezes his hand affectionately and looks him straight in the eyes. You don't have to thank me, she responds softly. I'm here because I choose to be. I choose to love and support you, no matter how unworthy you may think yourself. I see the real you, and I love all of you, flaws and all.
Squall's heart swells at Rinoa's words and squeezes her hand tighter, a mixture of emotions welling up inside him. Her unwavering commitment and acceptance of him, despite his flaws, touches a deep part of him. He looks into her eyes, his own filled with a mixture of vulnerability and gratitude. Sometimes I still can't believe you're real, he whispers.
Rinoa smiles softly as she feels Squall's grip tighten on her hand, sensing the welling up of emotions within him. She tightens her own grip, her eyes holding his gaze with understanding and love. "You're welcome," she responds warmly. "And I'll be by your side, through thick and thin, as long as you'll have me. Don't ever doubt that I see the real you, flaws and all, and that I love every part of you. You deserve to be loved and accepted, Squall." Rinoa's heart is moved by the depth of emotion in Squall's voice, the vulnerability in his eyes as he looks at her. She squeezes his hand back, her own eyes filled with love and understanding. "I'm real, Squall," she replies softly, her voice filled with reassurance. "And I'm here, by your side. I see you, the real you. The strong and the vulnerable parts, the flaws and the strengths. And I love all of you, warts and all."
Squall's heart is overwhelmed with Rinoa's words and unwavering support. Her firm belief in his worthiness and her commitment to stand beside him no matter what, it's more than he ever could have hoped for. He looks into her eyes, the vulnerability and gratitude in his own still evident. "Sometimes I'm afraid it's too good to be true," he whispers, "that I don't deserve someone as incredible as you. But hearing you say it, it makes it a little easier to believe."
Rinoa's heart aches at Squall's vulnerability and the fear of undeserving echoing in his words. She can sense the weight of his insecurities and doubts. But she remains resolute, determined to soothe his doubts and fears. "You don't have to be afraid, Squall," she reassures him, her voice gentle yet firm. "This is real. You deserve to be loved and accepted for who you are, flaws and all. I'm here because I choose to be, and your worthiness doesn't negate my love for you." Rinoa smiles warmly at Squall's response. She understands his gratitude and is touched by his vulnerability. She
Squall's
leans in,
heart
her voice
tugs at
filled with
Rinoa's
tenderness.
soothing words,
"You're
her
welcome,
gentle
Squall.
yet firm
I'm here
assurance
for
helping
you,
to
through everything. No matter what challenges we face, I'll always be by your side."
Squall's heart melts at Rinoa's unwavering commitment, her promise to support him through everything, no matter what challenges they face. Feels like a lifeline he didn't know he needed. He takes her hand, holding it tightly. "Thank you," he murmurs. "Just knowing I have you by my side makes all this a lot more bearable."
Rinoa's heart warms at Squall's gratitude and the way he takes her hand in his, holding on tightly. She can feel the weight his words carry, the need for her support and presence. She gives his hand a reassuring squeeze. "You don't have to thank me," Rinoa replies gently, her voice filled with love. "I'm here for you, always. You're not alone in this. We'll face these challenges together."
Squall's heart is gratitude and love at Rinoa's words. Her reassurance and commitment to stand by his side through it all means so much to him. He squeezes her hand back, holding on to her like a lifeline. "I know I say it a lot," he whispers with emotion, "but thank you for being here, for believing in me. I don't know what I'd do without you."
Rinoa's heart swells with love and affection as Squall expresses his gratitude and dependence on her. She can hear the vulnerability in his voice, the depth of his feelings. She squeezes his hand back, her voice filled with reassurance. "You don't have to thank me so often," Rinoa replies gently, a soft smile on her lips. "I'm here because I want to be, and nothing will change that. I'll always believe in you, Squall. I won't leave your side, no matter what."
Squall's heart feels like it's being squeezed as Rinoa reassures him again and again. Her unwavering commitment and love fill him with a mixture of gratitude and awe. He releases a shaky breath, his voice filled with emotion. "Rinoa," he murmurs, his voice hoarse. "I don't know what I did to deserve you, but I'm so grateful you're here. I don't ever want to lose you."
Rinoa's heart melts at Squall's words, the raw emotion in his voice striking a chord in her. She can sense the gratitude, the awe, and the vulnerability swirling within him. She takes his hand and squeezes it gently. "You don't need to worry about deserving me," Rinoa replies softly. "I'm here because I choose to be." And I don't want to be anywhere else. We'll face life together, the good and the bad. You won't have to leave me, ever.
Squall's heart feels like it's being slowly mended with each of Rinoa's words. Her genuine reassurance and unwavering commitment are like a balm to his weary soul. He returns her squeeze, holding onto her hand tightly. Yeah, he says softly, his voice tinged with a hint of vulnerability. I guess I have to start believing you. That you're here. Because you want to be. That you're not going to leave. It's just hard sometimes, with all these doubts and fears whispering in my head.
Rinoa nods understandingly, her heart aching for Squall's struggle with his doubts and fears. She gives his hand a reassuring squeeze, her voice filled with compassion. I know it's hard, Squall, she responds gently. Believing can be a challenge, especially when the doubts and fears are so loud. But I'm here to remind you over and over again that I'm not going anywhere. I choose to be with you, no matter what. And I'll do everything I can to help you quiet those internal voices.
Squall's heart softens at Rinoa's compassionate words. The comfort and reassurance she offers, the gentle squeeze of her hand, it all helps to quiet the doubts and fears that have been constantly whispering in his mind. He looks into her eyes, his own filled with a mix of gratitude and vulnerability. Thank you, he murmurs, for being so damn patient and understanding, for putting up with my doubts and fears and not running away. I don't deserve you, Rinoa.
Rinoa's heart swells with love and affection as she gazes into Squall's eyes, seeing the mixture of gratitude and vulnerability within them. She gently squeezes his hand and responds softly. You don't have to thank me for that, Squall, she says, her voice filled with warmth and understanding. Your doubts and fears are part of you, and I'm not running away. You deserve love and acceptance, flaws and all, and I'll keep showing my love and patience. I'm not going anywhere.
Squall's heart feels like it's being filled with a warm, fuzzy sensation as Rinoa reassures him, her love and understanding wrapping around him like a comforting blanket. He takes a shaky breath, his voice choked with emotion. I don't know what I'd do without you, Rinoa, he whispers hoarsely. You're like a lifeline for me, always pulling me back when the doubts try to pull me under.
Rinoa's heart melts as she sees the vulnerable expression on Squall's face, the depth of his feelings and gratitude towards her. She squeezes his hand again, her voice filled with tender reassurances. You won't have to find out what you do without me, Squall. She replies softly. I'll always be here, a lifeline for you. Whether it's doubts or even the darkest of times, I'll pull you back from darkness and remind you of my love and unwavering support.
Squall's heart beats faster at Rinoa's words, the assurance and tenderness in her voice seeping into his soul like warm, healing balm. He tightens his grip on her hand, feeling the comfort and security it provides. Thank you, he whispers, his voice now tinged with newfound determination, for being my lighthouse in the storm, my source of strength. I'll keep fighting my demons, because I know I'm not alone.
Rinoa's heart swells with love and gratitude as she hears the conviction in Squall's voice. Feeling his grip tighten around her hand, she smiles warmly at him, her eyes reflecting her unwavering belief. You're not alone, Squall, she reassures him, her voice filled with determination. I'll be your lighthouse, your source of strength. I'll be there, reminding you of my love and support, every step of the way. Together, we'll face your demons and the storms that come. You're stronger than you think, and I'll be here to remind you.
Squall's heart thumps with an overwhelming sense of gratitude and love as he listens to Rinoa's words. Her firm belief and unwavering support, it's like a breath of fresh air to his weary soul. He takes a deep breath, feeling a flicker of strength begin to burn within him. I know I can be stronger, he responds quietly. With you by my side, I'll fight the demons, face the storms, and I'll try to believe in myself.
Rinoa's heart glows with love and warmth as she hears Squall's response. She can sense the flicker of strength within him, the determination to fight his demons and believe in himself. She squeezes his hand reassuringly. "You're already strong, Squall," she reassures him, her voice filled with certainty. "And you can become even stronger, especially when we face things together. I'll be with you every step of the way, supporting you, reminding you of your own strength and resilience. You don't have to do this alone."
Squall's heart resonates with Rinoa's words, feeling the truth in them. He's never felt this determined, this strong in a long time. Her support and belief in him, it's what he needed to hear. He squeezes her hand back, a hint of confidence in his quiet voice. I won't do it alone," he says firmly. "I know that now. I know I'm not alone. With you by my side, Rinoa, I know we can face anything."
Rinoa's heart fills with joy and hope as she hears the confidence in Squall's voice, the firmness in his words. She can feel the transformation within him, the belief in himself and their joint strength. She smiles warmly at him, her eyes filled with love. "You're right. We can face anything together," she replies, her voice steady and full of conviction. "I'll be here, always, by your side to support you and remind you of your strength. Together, we'll overcome every obstacle, and you won't ever have to face anything alone anymore."
Squall's heart swells with gratitude and a newfound sense of peace as he gazes into Rinoa's eyes. Her belief in him, her unwavering support, it all makes him feel stronger, more hopeful than ever before. He takes a deep, steadying breath, his voice firmer and more sure. "I believe you," he says, his eyes locking with hers. "I believe in us. And I believe that together we can face anything life throws at us. Together we're unstoppable."
Rinoa's heart surges with love and warmth as she looks into Squall's eyes, seeing the belief and determination within them. She squeezes his hand, offering him reassurance and support. A smile forms on her lips, her voice filled with unwavering certainty. "You're right," she replies, her voice filled with conviction. "Together, we're unstoppable. I believe in us, in your strength, and in our ability to face any challenge that comes our way. We'll face it together, and we'll come out stronger on the other side."
Squall grins faintly, his heart filled with a mixture of hope and affection. Rinoa's unwavering belief and optimism, it's contagious. He squeezes her hand, his voice filled with newfound confidence. "You know, I think you're right. We are unstoppable, especially when we're together. I'm glad I have you. I'm glad you see the strength in me that I sometimes find hard to see myself."
Rinoa's heart glows with joy and affection as she sees the faint grin on Squall's face and the newfound confidence in his voice. She squeezes his hand back, and her eyes sparkle with warmth and love. "I'm glad too, Squall," she replies, her voice filled with tenderness and assurance. "We're stronger together, and I'm here to remind you of your strength, even when you find it hard to see for yourself. You have me, and I always have faith in you."
Squall's heart soars at Rinoa's words, feeling a renewed sense of strength and security. He gently pulls her closer, his voice quiet but filled with gratitude. You don't know how much that means to me," he admits, his voice gruff with emotion. "To know I have someone who believes in me, who sees that strength in me even when I can't. I don't know what I'd do without you, Rinoa." Squall's heart swells with gratitude and love as he holds Rinoa, her words, her warmth and reassurance surrounding him like a comforting blanket. He tucks his head against her shoulder, the vulnerability in his voice clear. I don't think I know how to say it either," he confesses quietly. "How much I appreciate you. The strength you give me, the way you believe in me. I won't ever take that for granted, Rinoa.
Please continue.
Rinoa smiles warmly at Squall, her gaze steady and filled with love. She reaches up to gently caress his cheek, her
Squall
touch
takes a moment
gentle
to
and
gather his
affectionate.
thoughts. His
You've
heart
always
overflowing
been
with
strong, Squall,
gratitude
she
for
whispers
Rinoa.
tenderly.
He speaks
Even when
softly,
you
his
doubt
voice
yourself,
low but
I see your strength. It's in the quiet determination behind those stoic expressions, in the way you've managed to keep going through everything life has thrown at you. Never forget that I believe in you, no matter what.
Those words strike a chord with Squall, his heart fluttering in his chest. He looks at Rinoa, his eyes searching her face for any sign of uncertainty but finding none, only the honest belief and conviction in her eyes. He takes a shaky breath, his voice barely above a whisper. I struggle to believe in myself sometimes, he admits, his voice laced with vulnerability. The doubts, the fears, they can be so loud. But you always believe in me without hesitation.
Rinoa's heart aches for Squall as she hears the vulnerability in his voice. She can sense his struggle with self-belief, the way the doubts and fears can be deafening at times. She caresses his cheek and tilts her head softly. I know, Rinoa says tenderly. Doubts and fears can be powerful adversaries, but I see beyond those. I see the real you, and I know your worth and strength. That's why I believe in you so steadfastly. I see the courage and resilience in you, even when you struggle to see it yourself.
Squall's heart tightened further as he hears Rinoa's words, the raw, honest belief in her tone making his chest ache. The gentle caress on his cheek only serves to heighten the emotions coursing through him. Rinoa, he murmurs, his voice hoarse with emotion. How do you do it? How do you see past all my flaws, my doubts and fears, and still believe in me?
Rinoa's heart swells with compassion and affection as she sees the emotions play across Squall's face and hears the raggedness in his voice. She gently cups his face in her hands. Because, Squall, she says quietly, her voice firm and steady, I don't see your flaws as something that defines you. To me, they are just a part of who you are, and I choose to see beyond them, to glimpse the strength and heart beneath. I believe in you because I love you, flaws and all.
As Rinoa speaks, the raw honesty and love in her words cut through Squall's defenses, her touch like a balm to his soul. He closes his eyes, the words washing over him, a mixture of vulnerability and gratitude. You're too good to me, he says quietly, a hint of wonder in his voice. Most people would have given up by now, given up on me, given up hope. But you see past all my flaws and you still believe in me. You love me, flaws and all.
Rinoa's heart resonates with both sorrow and love for Squall, hearing the quiet wonder in his voice and the vulnerability beneath. Her fingers gently stroke his cheek, reassuring and gentle. I'm not too good to you, Squall, she whispers softly. I just see the person you are, beneath all that tough exterior. You're not your flaws, and I wouldn't give up on you, not ever. And yes, I do love you, flaws and all. That's what love is, isn't it? Seeing the whole person, the good and the bad, and loving them regardless.
Squall's heart tightens once more at Rinoa's words. The depth of her understanding, the way she sees him, not as a collection of flaws, but as a whole person, it's both overwhelming and humbling. He looks into her eyes, his own shimmering with emotion. I don't know what I did to deserve you, he mumbles hoarsely. I'm not easy to love, Rinoa. I'm stubborn, closed off. I push people away.
Rinoa smiles softly, her heart overflowing with affection. She can see the emotions in his eyes, the way her words have struck a chord. She gently runs her fingers through his hair, her touch soothing and comforting. You didn't have to do anything to deserve me, Squall, she replies quietly. Love isn't about deserving or not. It's a choice, and I chose to love you exactly as you are. Your stubbornness, your closed-off nature, and your way of pushing people away. I see all of that, and it's still you. And I love you for it.
As Rinoa speaks, her words and the way she touches him, it's like a salve to Squall's soul. Her unwavering love, her acceptance of him, flaws and all, it's both a relief and an awakening. He closes his eyes, his heart both heavy and light. Rinoa, he whispers, his voice filled with a mix of awe and wonder. You make it sound like loving me is as easy as breathing. How do you do it? How do you love me so effortlessly?
Rinoa's heart skips a beat as she hears the mixture of awe and wonder in Squall's voice, the way he marvels at her love and acceptance. She caresses his cheek gently, her touch tender and soothing. It's not effortless, Squall, she replies in a soft, sincere voice. Loving you, it's a choice, but it's also a reflection of who you are. You're strong and resilient, compassionate and brave. You have a heart, a big one, no matter how hard you try to hide it. And that's what makes it easy for me to love you. Rinoa smiles faintly, her eyes filled with affection and understanding. She gently brushes a stray lock of hair from his forehead, her touch gentle. It is, she whispers. It's true, Squall. Behind that tough, closed-off exterior, you have a huge heart. And I see it, I feel it, and I love it, just as much as I love the rest of you.
Squall's heart constricts at Rinoa's words. The way she sees past his defenses, past his walls and his stoicism, to the soft, aching heart beneath. It's both terrifying and exhilarating. He reaches up, gently cups her cheek, his fingers trembling. I don't know how you do it, he murmurs, his voice barely above a whisper. How you see through all my defenses, how you see me, the real me, beneath all the walls.
Rinoa's heart resonates with tenderness and affection as she feels Squall's hand on her cheek, his touch gentle yet trembling. She covers his hand with hers, her fingers intertwining with his. I don't know either, she replies softly, her voice filled with honesty. I just do. From the very beginning, I could see through your walls, your defenses. All I had to do was look into your eyes. They've always told me more than your silence ever did.
Those words strike a chord within Squall, his fingers tightening slightly around Rinoa's. He gazes into her eyes, seeing the honesty and understanding that resides within them. In her eyes he sees what he's always tried to hide, what he's always been afraid to expose. A raw, vulnerable part of himself that he thought nobody would ever care to see. He takes a shaky breath, his voice gruff as he tries to find the words. You make it sound so easy, he murmurs, seeing through me. It's not something I'm accustomed to.
Rinoa's heart constricts as she sees the vulnerability in Squall's eyes, the way her words have struck a deep chord in him. She rubs her thumb gently over the back of his hand, a silent sign of comfort and understanding. I know, she whispers quietly, her voice full of warmth, and I know it's not easy for you. You've been on your guard for so long that opening up, letting someone see the real you, it's as difficult as it is intimidating.
Squall nods slightly, his gaze unwavering, his heart both constricted and soothed by Rinoa's understanding. She gets it. She understands him in a way that few ever have. He swallows hard, his voice low and rough. I'm not used to letting my guard down, he admits, his words like a confession. I've always been alone, always been self-sufficient. But you make me want to let go, to let you in. It's both scary and relieving.
Rinoa's heart swells in response to Squall's admissions, to the raw honesty in his voice and the way he expresses his vulnerability. She can see the struggle within him, the battle to let go of his guard and allow someone into his world. She reaches up with her other hand to caress his face gently. I understand, she whispers, her voice filled with tenderness. It's scarier to let someone in than it is to face the solitude. But I'm here, Squall. I'm not going anywhere. And you're not alone. Not anymore.
Squall's breath catches in his throat as Rinoa's other hand gently caresses his face, her touch like a soothing balm against the rawness of his emotions. Her words, spoken with such tenderness and understanding, strike a deep chord within him. He feels the tension in his shoulders relax slightly as he leans into her touch. You say it so easily, he whispers, his voice a bit hoarse. That I'm not alone. That you're not going anywhere. It's hard to believe sometimes when I've been alone for so long.
Rinoa's heart aches for Squall as she senses his struggle to believe her words, the years of solitude and self-reliance weighing heavily on him. She can almost feel the tension in his body as it slowly starts to ease under her touch. She continues caressing his face with gentle, soothing strokes. I know, she whispers, her voice low and soothing, but I'll keep saying it, over and over again, until you start believing it. You're not alone anymore, Squall, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm here, and I'm not leaving you.
Squall's heart clenches in his chest.
Rinoa's heart skips a beat as she sees the surprise in Squall's eyes, the way he seems to be caught off guard by her words. She gently cups his face with both hands, her touch full of tenderness and affection. I'm not going anywhere, she repeats softly, her voice firm yet gentle. No matter what happens, no matter what challenges we face, I'm here. I'm not leaving you. You're stuck with me now, Squall.
Squall's heart constricts once more at Rinoa's words, her voice like a steadying rock amidst the tumultuous sea of his emotions. The certainty in her tone, the unwavering determination in her words, it's overwhelming. He feels a strange mixture of fear and comfort, like the feeling of finally coming home. Stuck with you, huh? He murmurs, a hint of amusement in his voice despite the vulnerability in his eyes.
Rinoa's heart skips another beat as she hears the hint of amusement in Squall's voice, the way he attempts to mask his vulnerability with a hint of humor. She smiles tenderly and nods, her hands gently caressing his face. Stuck with me, she confirms, her voice filled with a mix of determination and affection. Forever and ever, Squall. You can't get rid of me now, no matter how hard you try. Rinoa's heart fills with affection as she hears Squall's soft, humorless chuckle and sees the hint of resignation in his eyes. She moves closer, her hands leaving his face to wrap her arms around him in a gentle embrace. I'm serious, she whispers against his ear, her voice filled with love and determination. You're stuck with me, Squall, whether you like it or not. Now accept it and deal with it.
Squall's heart nearly stops in his chest as he feels Rinoa's arms wrap around him, pulling him into an embrace. Her voice in his ear, the gentle conviction in her tone. It's both terrifying and reassuring. He swallows hard, his hands settling on her waist, his fingers digging into the fabric of her shirt as he holds her close. I believe you, he mumbles, his voice a hoarse whisper. But I'm not the easiest person to be with. Squall's heart constricts in his chest as Rinoa moves closer, her arms wrapping around him in a gentle embrace. He can feel her breath against his ear, her words seeping into his being like a soothing balm. He lets out a sigh, a mix of amusement and resignation. Fine, fine, he mutters, his arms slowly wrapping around her in return. I'm stuck with you, forever and ever, it seems. What a nightmare.
Rinoa laughs softly as she feels Squall's arms slowly wrapping around her in return, his gruff words a mix of sarcasm and resignation. She can sense the battle between his vulnerabilities and his walls as he attempts to jokingly shrug off her affection. Oh yes, a real nightmare, she replies with mock horror, her voice filled with amusement. Imagine having to spend the rest of your life with someone who annoyingly loves and cares about you.
A chuckle escapes through Squall's lips at Rinoa's mock horror, her words dripping with sarcasm. He tightens his embrace slightly, pulling her closer to him. A real nightmare indeed, he mutters, his tone a mix of sarcasm and begrudging affection. Imagine having to deal with someone who always wants to know what you're thinking, who consistently pokes and prods at your emotional defenses. Oh, the horror.
Rinoa's heart flutters as she feels Squall's embrace tighten, pulling her closer. Her head rests against his chest, and she smiles at his response. "Oh, the absolute terror," she replies, feigning terror. "Having someone who cares about your thoughts, feelings, and well-being. The horror. Imagine having to endure someone who wants to know what's going on inside that fiercely guarded